Good morning. Happy Friday. Well, we've had some not too big kind of ups and downs and almost back to where the week started here. So a lot of jiggles and running in place and all the news of impeachments and China, blah, blah, blah. The uncertainty continues. So we'll see where today ends, but we've got a pattern here that really, unless some, I guess, news comes out to drive the markets, we just don't have a pattern here that would suggest a significant move in either direction. But let's see where we're at here. Looking at the S&Ps, you can see we've got this topping pattern, and you know, Bears had the chance to drive this thing lower, and so far they have missed it. We'll see how what happens here today, but we had the wide range down bar, and we talked about it earlier in the week. The possibility of going lower if prices would stay in the lower half and ideally close down, be closing down there. Sometimes you get retracements into a wide bar like this, and then they go right back down at the end of the time period being looked at. So, and I say it in that manner because everything that we talk about with price patterns is applicable to any time frame. Larger time frames, bigger implication, right, than smaller. So what happened at the end of the day is prices peekabooed under the low. They rallied back up and they got, I guess, give or take halfway. And so a decent fight against the big red bar. And that led yesterday to just a choppy day of chopping around. And this bar is just developing right here. However, this pattern, and let me get my little drawing tool out here. This pattern, while sloppy, is the essence of what we look at in multiple time frames, meaning, this is not a quality one because you've got a double top here, rounding kind of a top, M top, call it what you will. And we've got a smaller area of support here, which held, which is a plus. That something so minor was able to hold prices here. But if we had a quality pattern where prices came down within an uptrend and down to some support area, and getting 2 or 3 days like this is where we look for bottoming action on the hourly time frame. So if you remember earlier in the week, I spoke about this W pattern that was forming, and we were looking for the potential for prices to go up based on that if it could hold. But we talked about the fact that it came down real hard. So coming down in an accelerated fashion like that, which is the start of a move, is not a great pattern for W bottoms. Whereas if this was to happen, let's just look at the weekly chart for a moment for the lesson. If this was to happen and on a second move to the downside, and then we get a W, that's a good pattern to go long. But on the first drop from a top, historically, it's not. So there was another wiggle there. And then we got the wide range bar and it went up. And so we've got this sloppy bottoming action on the hourly chart, which is now, stalled at area of yesterday's high. But the point here is that when you have a quality pattern, having 2 and even 3 days of trying to make the turn back up in a quality hourly chart is an excellent setup for a swing trade. So, look for patterns like that. I mean, sometimes they just, really, like strong demand comes and you get a bottoming tail bar possibly, and it can make the turn more of a V bottom than a couple of days of just hanging out and then going higher. So that's where we're at, and we've got all this stuff, right? Stuff resistance up here, and we got this whole number of 3,000. So we just don't have a great setup here today to have an expectation of something of significance. And just getting our bias in alignment with what is is a huge plus to keep us out of, what's potentially going to be the chop, other than if some news comes out here. And so far, there's really not much going on. Maybe everybody waiting for the next shoe to drop, or, the impeachment thing to be dispelled as more fake news, or whatever's going to happen here. We just don't have a pattern as far as the market goes to expect anything of significance at this point in time. Oh, AOC is here. Good. All right. In the room. SPX for Iron Condor today. We'll take a look at that. Qs are the same story, relative weakness, tempted to break, and this retraced more than 50%. We've got this chop here. Now, if prices can clear this area over here, well, maybe a bit more room to move up anyway to the top of the red bar. We'll see how that goes. But same story here, messy kind of patterns, not much to really go on here as far as market expectations. S&Ps, Iron Condor, or Trader McGraw. I would say above the big red bar, below yesterday's low. If you can find something in between those levels, right, which is basically up here, right, and down here, maybe if it rallies in between the middle here, and you get like a 5-minute failure in one direction or the other, Paul, then maybe if you can play, that far away, I think that makes sense. That prices can stay in between this level here. That might be a little wide to get some decent premium, but that's what we got right now. To get tighter than that, I don't think it would make much sense. I mean, this is too tight, my opinion, but you are the McGraw. So let's keep going here. Good afternoon, everyone in YouTube from London. All right. The Dow, a little bit cleaner than the others, but nonetheless, that double M top up there. The real opportunity here is if the market fails, because that is where the void is to the downside. As you can see, as I scrunch this up, that if this chop that's going on here was to break below this level, that's where the opportunity is for a trending move. We don't have a great opportunity for a trending move to the upside. So when we look at patterns, even though this isn't an uptrend here, it's at resistance, but this upward move here and pull back to support where buyers are stepping up, the structure of that doesn't really support anything other than scalps for today, unless we get more sideways choppy price action, which may be what we're in store for today. And as prices get further away from the messy price action, correction through time, that could open up the door to actually moving up. But right now, a break below here provides the greater opportunity. And again, the weekly nice deep move into resistance, this chop that's going on historically is normal. In a bullish point of view, that a choppy consolidation at resistance is what we call absorbing supply. And we'll see how that unfolds. The Russell, as you can see, similar pattern here. And because it's been the weaker, here's where it brought up the rear. But here's the weaker here, could present a better opportunity from the bullish side for intraday trades. But breaking below, let's bring this up here, breaking below here, you have to consider things from the short side, and things could really get out of hand on the downside with all of these markets. So we shall see. And coming into some support. Right, pivot low. We got a swing low there, and so we can see, well, it's a little further down that swing, but you can see the little congestion that's right there, where it's trying to hold a little bit here for the moment. But that's a big move to the downside in oil. Now, there was that move up that occurred on the Saudi news, and if it could have held on to that, well, that would have been pretty bullish for oil, but that didn't happen, and now it's back into the mess. So not a great opportunity here for anything. Bonds, we talked about earlier in the week, is on this morning, that day when it had gone up, we talked about if this could turn into a turn. I said, watch, and we were looking at this price action up here on that day. I said, watch to see if this turns lower, because if it does, that's going to support the market to go up. And the market held, and then you got that reversal day. So everybody maybe just new here, you got this reversal day when that happened, but so far running in place, going nowhere. And so we'll now, and we do the same thing with this red bar. Does it stay in the lower half? So far, it's right on the edge there. But now we'll see if this drops. This is how intermarket analysis can help you. If this drops, well, look for longs on the market. If this starts to rally, that should put pressure on the broader markets. Now, certain stocks will be on their own page, but as far as the market having an effect on, the big names, this can be a help as to whether its direction is either up or down and what that is going to do to the market. And looks like gold. Well, no love for gold here. And we'll see if it double tops, double bottoms here, or whether, as I look at this pattern on the weekly and this topping tail, if it closes this way today, we'll see what next week. But if it breaks below this area here, this looks like a measured move to the downside into this support. Now, if that is underway, which this has had a bit of an inverse relationship with the broader markets, if this is going down and bond prices are going down, that is going to lead me to believe that equities are going to go up. So I would suggest keep an eye on those things. And you can look at GLD if you don't have the futures. You can look at TLT for bonds. Those ETFs will guide you during the day. Silver already breaking lower. It's cleared that support and coming down to the next one and the 50 MA. So I'm sure buyers are looking at this. The buyers that bought on this day are looking at this, and they're probably on their knees praying to a higher power, hoping that this will hold and turn around here. If not, it opens up the door to going lower. And this weekly bar right here doesn't look good for longs. So we'll see how that unfolds. We always like to look at the transports. And so far, they're holding here after this deeper retracement than the other markets. It's been the weaker, but it brought up the rear with a vengeance when the markets did rally. And on this week, when it did go up, it was the best performing of the broader market indices and ran, higher up to that resistance to the left. So, those of you, especially on YouTube, in the green room here, those attendees here, Dan and I speak about these relatively simple concepts: support, resistance, and trend on a daily basis. Those in YouTube should be recognizing the fact that the simplicity of just looking to the left works so much better than drawing diagonal trend lines, fib lines, Gann lines, Elliott waves, and all the other craziness that's out there. Simple works. You don't need indicators, oscillators, connecting dots, and so on to know the probability of where market turning points are. So with that being said, happy Friday. All yours, Dan.
All right. Good morning. Thank you. Let's do what we always do. We'll go ahead and look at the opens first. The AOC is in here with us. Nice. This knock in OC I have as a put spread candidate. Nice breakout from a reverse heading shoulders. Weekly options trader, we still had a very, very slow week. We have IBM put spread for next week, LRCX. We have a put spread for that expires today. We're having a bearish gap here, I think courtesy of Micron MU dragging it down in the semi space. But our short strike is 232.50. So look, that's way the heck under here. So we'll keep an eye on it. We tightened the stop already. And shop. Beautiful, what we call a 180 reversal here on major support. And we had a beautiful entry yesterday. Came in a little bit further, deeper into this support, but it held 50%, closed near the high. Now it's gapping up, and that expires today also. That looks fantastic. In fact, I'm going to keep an eye on that for put spread for next week too. And I just said we're watching knock and OC for a put spread for next week. And I also have posted a Google as a 1, 2, 3. That's a put spread for next week. Also, Teradyne I have posted as a long call option as a directional over the high. Beautiful 1, 2, 3 to all-time highs. It looks great. So you heard Greg say broader markets are a mess, which they are, but we're finding, and that's our job, to find the individual stocks that are good candidates. Yeah, MU, absolutely. That's a bearish gap, 46 bucks. Hey, McGraw, what kind of candidate might this set up to be? With a gap right here. See, I'm giving you a visual hint. We'll see what it does. But look, we got major support, we got resistance. Well, that's too good to be true, but yeah, you're close. Let's look for a condor maybe for next week. The 52s and the 42s. Absolutely, a condor. I was looking at General Motors here also. Remember in here somewhere I said it was a condor candidate. And we did look, but there was insufficient juice. And it still looks like a condor. It's a mess here with the, their strikes. I don't know how long you can keep going, losing 100 million a day. I read in the paper that it's hurting their parts distribution, where people now can't get their junky cars fixed because parts, they can't, the plants are shut down. Swing and options traders, opens here. Let's run through these. Delta Kilo, it's kind of been dead money, but we're still in it. EIX, beautiful put spread. That was a utility that we bought this breakout, right? Well, on the breakout, we sold a put spread. ENPH, put spread. And that's coming in hard, but our stop is under here. Hess, we're going to take assignment of this. We're short puts. It was a beautiful, beautiful gap setup that failed. We talked about shock patterns, and that pattern has shocked the bulls. That's for sure. IBM, we're long stock, and I just posted an alert that under 143, let's go ahead and sell the 145 calls for next week. A leg into a covered call. ITB, we have a little out of the money put spread. Kilo here, covered call, dead money, but we're making money with the short call. KHC, we're still short. Wow, look at these flat 20 and 50 right now. Wow. tight volatility. It might do something soon. Kim, we invested in Kim into the close yesterday, breakout daily, weekly, monthly. Clack, we have a put spread, also gapping down a little bit, but not nearly as bad as the other one. But this one, we're short the 150s way down here. So we're still fine, $10 away. LII, we're still short stock here with a stop over the red bar. MCK, okay, this is a condor that we're in. Multiple levels of resistance, multiple levels of support. It expires next week. Just shop around. Just don't make an explosive move up or down. And we are happy. Oscar Charlie, nice breakout. We have a covered call and a put spread, SITC for long stock as a core trade. Look at this beautiful monthly. Look at that. That is so, Debbie is not here, but I got to show Debbie this. This is what we call an intelligent bottom fishing. Price void, the distance between the lows getting tighter. We have a deep retracement here. We had a breakdown failure that was bought. We have a 1, 2, 3 right here. Yes, that's resistance, but the overall pattern is saying that it's a bottom. And then, you know, we're trading the weekly and the daily for our entry. That was a great setup. Same with Oscar Charlie. Oh, what else we got? Same with TERP. TERP was a great multiple time frame setup. All right, almost done here. TYL, we have a covered call, and it's also a 1, 2, 3 on the daily to add over the high. Whiskey is another core trade of ours, that multiple time frame and alignment. I might have to do a video on all these are beautiful alignment situations. Finally, Xilinx, we're still short, believe it or not. We shorted on this green day right here, that breakdown. So it went against us, and that's it. We got Senator Schumer in here now. You all are funny. Do I call you Senator? Yeah, Greg, the senator, was having a hard time getting in the room. All right, let's look at Gappers GM. We talked about if we can get a Condor. McGraw asked me to look at Crying Chuck. Yeah, Crying Chuck, I like that. So this is a bottoming pattern. I like the bottoming tail here, new low and deep retracement. So McGraw over the week's high, put spread candidate for next week. Booking here had some type of news. I'm not sure what it was. It's a deep retracement here. So I'm not expecting a new high, but over yesterday's high, could be a put spread for next week, but he's traditionally very spready. Texan, look, Texan got an upgrade here. Kind of a sloppy bull flag, but it's in an uptrend, daily, weekly, monthly. McGraw, put spread candidate, the 125s for next week. Let's take a look at that. Got a bearish gap here to 37, but no great price void on the monthly. Camp had earnings 11.20, so it's a bearish gap here, and it's a mess. I got no interest in that. And Booking too, no interest. Jeffries had earnings. Wow, that trade's spotty. 1844. That's a bearish gap. Way the heck down here. But this is support, so no great pattern. NOC we talked about. LMT was in the news. I think it said they're increasing the dividend. But look at these beautiful rising 20 and 50 MA. McGraw, that's a put spread candidate. Penn, CEO stepping down, no pattern. Mountain, I'm not sure if this was earnings or what. I don't care. 240. So it's deep in the resistance, but it, still has a brick wall there. Delta in the news saying it was investing in an Asian airline or something or other. It's sloppy, but 30-minute high. Possible put spread candidate, LRCX. I got it on the other screen, WFC. I don't know if this was earnings or what, but that's a nice gap breakout. This has been one of the dogs for years because of all of its problems. So that's worth watching. Put him here. Micron, we talked about, maybe it's like Condor, CDW. All right, these are carryover stocks now from yesterday. It had a pro gap breakout, came in, buyers just stepped up with two bottoming tails, and that's strong. That's bullish daily, weekly, monthly. So it's just a matter of picking our spot to get on board. It looks good. NVMI, same kind of, bull flag consolidation to all-time highs. That's worth watching. SDC is a recent IPO that's getting clobbered. We'll just, watch it day by day. See when the buyers want to think it's a good deal. I mentioned this one yesterday as a little swing. I like this bottoming tail down here, which was a downside shakeout, we call it. Shop, we mentioned. GPI, still worth watching. That's a bull flag. Look at my flagpole. Here's my flag. There was my event. And the same problem. It's trying to get on board. Said, gee, some of the solar stocks got killed yesterday. This one has an engulfing bar, but it's still one of the strongest daily, weekly, monthly. It's a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. Look at some of these other ones. CSIQ got killed. Fizzler got spanked down. What's the third one? SPWR. Yeah, so they got hit. This one I like, McGraw. This is, I think, one of yours. Is buying in line with the mothership. On what's your question, Crying Chuck? See, Howard, the first question he asked, he's crying already. You see that? So that was a beautiful name. Is buying in line with the mothership? The answer is no, it's not. And that's why we're just focused on individual things. And we have to make the determination, as long as the market's not falling, even if it's just holding, then I'm okay with buying unique patterns on their own page. So I have a question for you, Crying Chuck. Look right here. Look at this pattern. Just look at it. Beautiful bottoming tail, trading range. This wide range breakout bar drug the 20 up. The 50's been up for a while. Why? Well, because it's grabbing 50 days of closing data and divided it by 50. So my question to you is, look, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars in the upper half of this bar. If this trades over 50 bucks, because that's going to be a feat. That ain't going to happen lightly, particularly if the market's in a coma or falling. So yes, I will buy this over 50 bucks. I'll give it a. No, so you're being serious. Alex, you're saying you didn't change your name? Yeah, so email Greg. I don't know about that. All right, so I like this. Let's buy it over. I'm going to post it over 50 bucks. Let me check earnings. FSS, all right. You might want to give it 5 minutes. Let me look at it. I'm looking at the opens. The only problem one is LRCX, but we're still $5 lower.